See how the Dallas Cowboys have done exactly what the NFL dreaded and the ripple effects it could have on the league this season. Welcome back to Cowboys Fan Hub, your go-to source for all things Dallas Cowboys. If you're passionate about America's team and want to stay on top of the latest Cowboys news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. In today's video, we're diving into how the Dallas Cowboys have done exactly what the NFL dreaded, and the ripple effects it could have on the league this season. Let's jump right in. First, let's talk about the offseason moves that have positioned the Cowboys to be one of the most formidable teams in the NFL this season. The NFL front office might have hoped for a quiet offseason from Dallas, but Jerry Jones and company had other plans. The Cowboys made headlines with strategic signings that addressed key weaknesses. From bolstering the defensive line with veterans like Linval Joseph to adding depth in the secondary, the Cowboys ensured that they wouldn't just be competitive, they'd be dominant. The NFL, which often counts on parity to keep things interesting, now faces a Dallas team that is not just aiming for a playoff spot but for the Super Bowl itself. But it wasn't just about new faces. The Cowboys made sure to retain their core talent. Re-signing key players like CeeDee and negotiating new deals with Dak Prescott signaled to the rest of the league that Dallas is in it to win it. The NFL likely hoped that contract disputes or cap issues might slow down the Cowboys, but instead, they've doubled down on their commitment to their stars. The NFL draft was another area where the Cowboys excelled, much to the chagrin of other teams. The selection of Motzie Smith in the first round added serious muscle to the defensive line, while later picks like Deuce Vaughn brought speed and versatility to the offense. The league, which counts on every team having at least one area of weakness, now has to contend with a Cowboys roster that's looking more complete than ever. The NFC East is traditionally one of the most competitive divisions in football, and the Cowboys' aggressive offseason has sent shockwaves through the division. Let's break down what this means for their divisional rivals. The Philadelphia Eagles, fresh off a Super Bowl appearance, were likely banking on their momentum carrying them through the division. But the Cowboys have put the Eagles on notice. By strengthening their defense and adding weapons to the offense, the Cowboys have essentially told the Eagles, "We're not just playing for second place." As for the New York Giants and Washington Commanders, both teams have been working hard to improve, but the Cowboys' moves have widened the gap. The Giants made strides last season, but their progress could be stalled if they can't find a way to match Dallas' firepower. The Commanders, meanwhile, are in a state of flux with new ownership and an uncertain quarterback situation, making them particularly vulnerable to the Cowboys' dominance. Expect the NFC East matchups to be some of the most intense games of the season. The Cowboys' ability to control both sides of the ball will make them a tough out for any team, but especially for their divisional rivals who now face an uphill battle just to keep up. It's not just the NFC East that needs to worry, the entire conference should be on high alert. Let's talk about how the Cowboys' offseason could reshape the NFC playoff picture. The San Francisco 49ers have been a thorn in the Cowboys' side in recent playoff matchups, but this season could be different. The Cowboys have added the pieces necessary to match up against the 49ers' physicality, particularly on defense. With the improved line play and a more dynamic offense, Dallas could very well be the team to beat in the NFC. The NFL is designed to prevent teams from staying on top for too long, but the Cowboys are bucking that trend. The reigning NFC champion Eagles might find themselves playing second fiddle to Dallas if the Cowboys' new additions gel as expected. This could lead to a seismic shift in the balance of power within the conference. Should the Cowboys secure a top seed, which is looking increasingly likely, they'll have the advantage of playing at AT&T Stadium, where they've been nearly unbeatable. This could spell trouble for any team that has to come through Dallas in January. Whether it's the Vikings, the Seahawks, or even a resurgent Packers team, the road to the Super Bowl could very well run through Arlington. One of the NFL's biggest selling points is its parity. Any team can win on any given Sunday. But the Cowboys' off-season moves are challenging that notion, creating a scenario where they might be one of the few true juggernauts in the league. The NFL thrives on competitive balance, but when a team like the Cowboys assembles this much talent, it could skew the landscape. The Cowboys' large market and deep pockets have allowed them to retain and acquire top-tier talent, something smaller market teams might struggle with. This could lead to a wider gap between the haves and the have-nots in the league. While Cowboys fans are obviously thrilled with the team's direction, fans of other teams might not be so pleased. The league's success depends on widespread fan engagement, and if the Cowboys start to dominate, it could lead to frustration and disinterest from other fan bases. The NFL might dread the idea of another Cowboys dynasty, but that's exactly where we might be headed. On the flip side, a dominant Cowboys team could drive ratings through the roof. Love them or hate them, the Cowboys draw eyes. A successful season could lead to even more prime-time games, more national coverage, and ultimately, more revenue for the league. It's a double-edged sword that the NFL is undoubtedly watching closely. As we look ahead to the season, here are the key players who will determine whether the Cowboys live up to their potential or fall short. Everything starts and ends with Dak Prescott. The Cowboys have invested heavily in him, and now it's time for him to deliver. Prescott has shown flashes of brilliance, but consistency has been an issue. If he can put together a complete season, the Cowboys will be very hard to beat. Micah Parsons is a generational talent, and his role in the Cowboys' defense cannot be overstated. Whether he's rushing the passer or dropping back in coverage, Parsons has the ability to change the game on every snap. The NFL dreaded the day they would have to game plan against him, and that day has arrived. With Amari Cooper gone, CeeDee Lamb is now the undisputed number one receiver in Dallas. He's shown he has the talent to be a top-tier wideout, but this is the season where he needs to prove it. Lamb's ability to stretch the field and make big plays will be crucial to the Cowboys' offensive success. The Cowboys' defensive line, bolstered by the addition of Motzi Smith, will be under the microscope this season. If Smith can develop quickly and become a force in the middle, it will free up the rest of the defense to make plays. The NFL hoped the Cowboys would take time to rebuild, but instead, they've reloaded. So, there you have it, Cowboys Nation, how the Dallas Cowboys did exactly what the NFL dreaded. They've made all the right moves in the offseason, set themselves up for success in a tough NFC East, and are poised to be a dominant force in the conference this season. Whether or not the NFL is ready, the Cowboys certainly are. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Cowboys Fan Hub, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Do you think the Cowboys are primed for a Super Bowl run? How do you feel about the off-season moves? Let's get the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys!